divorcement and say, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you, done. Now, you could get a bill of divorcement handed to you if for some reason you burned his dinner. I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. I'm not kidding. Or if you lost favor in his sight. I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. If you no longer were attracted to him. Or, if he really wanted to get rid of you, he could accuse you of adultery. She has been indecent. She has committed adultery. No proof necessary. She has been a sinner. I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. Done. Women often had no recourse. Proof wasn't often necessary. And there is precedent that there were men who could buy their way out of a sticky situation. Here in this scene, there are many people who really think that this whole trial is about a woman taken in adultery. And granted, the end of the story suggests that, but it's more. This is another challenge to Jesus. When the Romans took over, when the Romans stripped the Israelites of their own power to rule themselves, they took away their right to capital punishment. In other words, they could not punish one another. They could not legally stone this woman. Only the Romans could impose capital punishment. So the Pharisees and the scribes set this woman before Jesus to test, to see if he has any idea what he's really dealing with regards to the Romans. It's a no-win situation. If Jesus says to them, follow the law, follow the Jewish law, stone her if she's guilty, then he stands to get in trouble with who? The Romans. If he says, don't stone her because you can't go against the Romans, who's he going to be in trouble with? The Pharisees and the scribes. It's a no-win situation. In those days, when a woman particularly was accused of adultery, they actually would curse her, and they would mix up something for her to drink from the dust of the floor of the temple and water, and they would curse her, and they would make her drink it, and oftentimes they intimidated her so badly that in order not to drink this liquid that would curse her forever, she would just plead guilty. Anybody think that sounds familiar? Take the plea. In this story, Jesus is surrounded by people who are waiting with bated breath for him to make a mistake. Yet again, he's in a position where he must prove that he is the one whom God has sent. And he does not engage the Pharisees and the scribes. He does not engage the crowd. He puts his head down and he looks at the floor. And there are all these people who love to try to figure out, what was Jesus writing on the dirt, on the floor? Doesn't matter. What he did was he bowed his head not to engage them in a fight, in an argument. He bowed his head, and they baited him even more. And finally, he lifted his head and he said, any one of you, anyone among you who is without sin in your life, please cast the first stone. By law, the people who were in a stoning, the people who were cast the first stone, stone were the witnesses to the crime. So the first two people to cast the first stones were the people who witnessed the adultery. I don't know where that happened, but okay. Then, in order that no one could be seen as the primary cause of that person's death, the entire community was invited to throw stones. The person who was to be stoned had to lie on their back. If they turned over on their stomach to hide their heart, they were turned back over again, and a stone was dropped on their heart. If they did not die at the time when the stone was dropped on their heart, then a stone would be dropped on their head. And then more stones until finally they died. It is a brutal, horrible way for people to die. And my friends, it is being carried out today. When Jesus said, "Those among you who are witnesses here, who are without sin, please be the first to cast the stone at this woman." The first to leave his company were the most experienced of all of the religious authorities, the elders. Those who knew the most about the law were the ones who left, because there was not one among them who could see himself or herself as without sin, as without being contrary in their relation to God. The symbolic portion of this story. Adultery is not always in the Bible about sex. Adultery in the Bible is about breaking the bond of relationship. And every Israelite was guilty of breaking the bond of relationship with God throughout Israelite history. As we Christians have been in our lifetime guilty of breaking our bonds with God. Jesus' forgiveness in the presence of all these people, Jesus' mercy in the presence of all these people is the demonstration of God's mercy for all of us. Each one of us has been adulterous in our relationship with God. Each one of us in our lifetime have made the mistake of breaking our bond with God. We have adored something else or something more than God. By Jesus Christ, we are shown mercy. Through Jesus Christ, we receive mercy for the breaking of our bond with God. When we read this story, we need to think about this having nothing to do with sex, but having more to do with starting our lives over again every day by forgiveness and by mercy. Jesus says to this woman, "Go and start your life over again." We are invited